fishing, we need to understand what kind of activities are adding pollutants or chemicals to our lakes that we are sharing with, that we are living with. Okay? We say that I live with this person. Okay? You have to change the concept that you also live with the lake. That's your environment, that's your ecosystem that you are sharing with. So whatever you are putting is going to get back to you. It's not going to disappear anywhere. You are putting anything into your lake that you are living on, it's going to get back to you one day or the next. And you're going to accumulate that. So chemical that you put in your lake that you're living by, you're going to get it back. And that's going to affect your health. Okay? Thus, I just said that whenever you're living close to the environment, and the environment that provides you drinking water and essential service, you have a special responsibility. So where do we go from here? These are some probably recommendations I could put forward based on what we have seen over the last 8-10 years. I think Shawnigan Lake must reduce its septic loading. Langford Lake has switched from septic to sewage system, and that's part of our experiment. We are looking at how it improves water quality. There has been many examples around the world where diversion of septic system into sewage system has improved water quality substantially. So that would be one of my recommendations to the regional district, to the government, that these lakes, take this island. We have in southern Vancouver Island, one of the fastest growing place in the province. We have 3 important water bodies. Suk, Shawnigan, Cowichan. That's it. There aren't any more important water bodies. Think 100 years from now. What would be the population size of southern Vancouver Island? Would it double or triple? Where would people get water from? People will tap onto Shawnigan Lake from far distance. Okay? People will tap onto Cowichan Lake from far distance. We'll start building pipes like the way they do in the US. So it is our responsibility to protect and manage those ecosystems from now on, so that 100, 200 years from now, our next generations have access to good drinking water. And as it is your major drinking water, it should be defined as a community watershed. It should fall under the rules and regulations of zoning, licensing, development as a part of community watershed, not as a part of a land. So this is an essential ecosystem. It should be treated that way. I would suggest that any future development should have significantly larger lot size. If you create high density residential area, you will have more significant impact on the quality of the environment and quality of the water. So, if you live near the water, don't fertilize. Okay? Alright? And going back to the slide I started with, it is all of our responsibility to reduce the loading to our environment where we are drawing the water from. And what if we do not do it? Expect this to happen to Shawnigan Lake. Okay? That's actually a drinking water supply on Salt Spring Island. Okay? That's how it looks. And that's all it is because of phosphorus. Okay? And when I talk to Salt Spring Island people to manage water, phosphorus loading, they say, oh, we will put an aerator. Oh, we can treat it. And 6 months of the year, those algae, blue-green algae, are actually producing toxins, neurotoxins. When you talk to the director, drinking water director of British Columbia, they say, has anybody died? That is the response from the provincial director responsible for drinking water. And has anybody died drinking this water? I said, no, nobody did, but it may have reduced the life expectancy or well-being of people significantly. So I will stop at that, and thank you very much.
a good example for change?
Victoria Water Department.
Okay.
It's the best in the world.
But,
The best example in the world.
but that's been over the last 100 years. Has there been a water, has there been a place that's been appointed to backstep
Australia.
Australia?
Many examples from Australia where they have, over the last 10, 15 years, really cracked on any violation. That you cannot exceed loading beyond that. You will be shut down. So that's why it works. Our system of telling you, we would appreciate if you did that, that doesn't work. We will fine you $1 million if you did that. That's when it's going to work.
I have a couple of questions. One is, I live on the waterfront, and I don't fertilize my lawn. As you can tell, you saw it's full of moss and weeds. But I have a sewage treatment system.
That's the brown lawn we see from the space, that's yours?
It's going to be brown if you inside. Dandelions stay green for a long time. I have a sewage treatment system that was installed at my place about 12 years ago. And a lot of the waterfront properties, well, some now, if they've done a new home or enlarged the previous cabin, as was the case with my property, the CBRD, to its credit, requires a sewage treatment system be installed, and they're fairly pricey. Ours is about $16,000, that was 10 years ago.
Is it a biological treatment system?
I don't know if it's a sound filter and a computer and bells and whistles and buzzes and costing me $150 a year to have service. That's all I know. It's called OSI. Okay. Are those systems significantly better than just a regular sewage septic field?
They're supposed to use up most of the chemicals, degrade most of the chemicals. That's how they're built.
Right.
I think what you got, because I think that's a biological system.
Yeah.
It would degrade the chemicals.
Just biological, yes.
Yeah, so it should degrade most of the materials.
Okay. So my conscience is very clear.
I would still like to get some analysis done on the effluents that is coming out. That what is the composition of the effluent?
You're welcome to come and test my effluents. The other thing we've been thinking about for some time now is how do we manage the Shawnigan Lake watershed? And by that I don't mean all of the land that drains into the Shawnigan Lake Creek system into Mill Bay. I mean just the land that drains into Shawnigan Lake itself. That's for me the critical part.
Yeah.
And I've looked at provincial and federal legislation, and I've read a number of books, and I can't quite get my head around how we can put together some sort of management entity to just manage the watershed. I think we know enough about managing watersheds now, and the sort of research you do helps us with that. That if we had an entity of that sort, a board or something that had the legislative authority to actually do something, and perhaps a few paid employees, we could manage this watershed adequately. They could advise the CBRD